Hey, my name is Dallas Keithley, and I'm here with Monty McCurley.
Hey.
And Monty, the first thing we got to figure out is what to call you. What's your title here at Secure Insurance Group?
I don't know. I've been called a few things, but probably the better thing for this would be retirement planning specialist.
Retirement planning specialist. I like it. So what we're going to do today is just go over some options and show some of the differences in the places that people can safely put their money. Does that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about how they can have safe money but still get some gains from it. Show the advantages, and if there are disadvantages, we'll talk about those. But just show them that. Show them what the CD market's looking like, how the index strategies, how you can use that to help you. And
okay. And the big thing to take away today is you have options. You don't have to just stick your money in a CD, or there's a lot. Depends on what you want it to do.
Yeah, there's several options we're going to talk about, and with the different options, you're always going to have access to a portion of your money or even all of your money.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about maybe an optimal mix for safe money versus money in the market or money in CDs or whatever.
Okay.
We're not. I always diversify. I never want to put all their eggs in one basket.
Baskets, that whole thing. So, okay. Well, let's take a look at all this stuff. Let's look at some graphs, some charts, and we'll show you all what we're talking about.
Perfect.
All right, Monty, the first thing I see here is the fact that I'm glad I know you, because I just see scribbles and colors and confusion, right? So tell me, in this first slide, what am I looking at here?
Absolutely. So this is just a chart that kind of walks you through the market from when it started back in 1926. You're going to see some different dates here, different major events. You got the start of the stock market crash, which started the Great Depression. You see major decreases in the market, but it bounces back, okay? This is taking $1 and putting it in. If you put all your $1 in small cap stocks, it's going to grow to it would have grown to $32,600 as of today. If you put it all in large cap stocks, $7,030. If you want to be super safe and put it in bonds and treasury bills, you get $142 or $21. And with inflation, $1 back in 26 would be about $14 today. So this just kind of shows the growth of the market over time. You know, you've got your bad times that come in, JFK assassinated, start of the inflationary period, another stock market crash, the Gulf War. You're always going to see downturns, but it just bounces back. And it's just over time, you know, we think we're in horrible times right now with COVID and all that stuff going on, but the market always bounces back and rebounds.
Goes down must come up in this scenario.
Absolutely.
All right, so take us over here as we look at this one here. It's Christmassy, is what I think of. But
well,
again,
it's after Halloween, so we put up our Christmas tree. Exactly. This is one of my favorite charts right here, because everybody always talks about the S&P 500 or in their index products, what if the index doesn't perform and that type thing. So the worst 10-year period for the S&P 500 was from 2000 to 2009. And you can see there, 2000, 2001, 2002, really bad years. Bounce up, drops horribly back in 08, comes back up a little bit. But over that 10-year period, and this is the only 10-year period in the history of the S&P that it had a negative return of 1%.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying, I'm thinking back to our previous slide. Out of all the bad things that happened, Great Depression, all that, this is the only 10-year period that had a negative 1% return.
That is correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So what we like to do when we talk about safe money is we track an index. Okay, we're not buying into the index, we're tracking an index. So over that 10-year period, the S&P itself, negative 1%. Okay. But the green line here shows if in that same time period we had invested some of our safe money into a product that had 11.5% cap and a 0% floor, because that's how the products that we use work. Mm-hmm. Zero's your hero, typically have a cap on them. But in that same 10-year period, that index that we would have tracked, 4.88% gain.
Wow.
And the reason is, these first 3 years when the market was just steadily going down, zeros all the way across.
So when everybody else is losing money, you're not making any, but you're not losing money either.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then again in 08, took a 37% dive, we stayed at zero. So that's the power of the index and how the index can work for you.
Okay, but I grew up in a time where CDs, baby. CDs were what you put your money in. It was safe. It was accessible. All of that stuff. Tell me. I mean, CDs still good? Are they still bad? What is the rules? What are your thoughts on CDs?
The CDs have a place. You know, there's a place for some CD money out there, almost like an emergency fund, but you don't want to lock it up. You know, if you lock it up 5 years, you're much better off to go with a MIGA, multi-year guarantee annuity. We kind of look when we're talking about investing and with our clients that have reached retirement age and they're more worried about distribution instead of accumulation, we look at the rule of 100. Okay. How much money would be good to have in the market versus in your safe money? Okay. Just take a 70-year-old. You subtract 70-year-old from 100, that's 30. So typically they may have around 30% or less that's got some market exposure. That other 70% is going to be in some different forms of safe money, something that's very conservative.
So basically, the less time you have to accumulate money, the safer you want to be.
Absolutely, because you think about it, if someone's 70 years old and they've got all their money in the market and they take that 37% dip, well, they don't have as many years to get that back.
Yeah, you can't recover. So,
that's right.
Okay. All right, so let's look at CDs here.
Yeah, so I just pulled this up today, and you could go to any site, just very different sites and get very similar numbers. But this is just what the rates are right now on jumbo CDs. And a jumbo CD is nothing more than you basically got to have $99,000 or $100,000 to get it going. So the best 9 month, 0.85, not 85%, 0.85. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. If you want to lock your money into a CD for 5 years, you're getting 1.27%. Okay?
Wow.
You're locking it in for that 5 years. You're paying taxes on it every year. The tax isn't deferred. You get a 1099 every year with your interest.
So every year you're going to get that little slip of paper. You got to take the tax guy, and you're going to get taxed on it every year.
Every year,
wow.
Right? And we, like I said earlier, we have fixed annuities that we can get. The best one I've seen lately of 5 years, about 2.7%. So more access to your money. You don't pay taxes till the end or till you start drawing it out. Your taxes are deferred.
Okay. So now let's look at, now I want to say here, we deal with several companies, right? F&G, Silec, a bunch of different companies.
Nassau Re,
okay.
Allianz, Guggenheim. Any products or any companies out there, we're going to have access to them.
Okay, so next we're going to look at a hypothetical illustration,
right,
just showing something that's very realistic and what it could do in now when we say safe money, annuity, same thing. Yeah. We call them safe money accounts because it's truly safe.
It's truly safe. Like we talked about earlier, zero's your hero. So we're just looking at the different, hypothetical illustration here. This shows the different indexes that we can track. Okay, as you can see, there's 10 or 12 of them. A lot of them have no charge. Some of them do have charges. We have a lot of people that don't like annuities because they have charges. So we can offer them a very, very robust index package with no charges. One of our favorites right now, just because of the way that it's performed since they started back in about 2005, the Barclays Trailblazer. It's a 2-year point-to-point. There's no charge. Currently, you got 135% participation, which means if the index goes up 10%, you get 13.5% credited to your account. So the participation means how much of the gain do you get? And in this case, you're getting 135%. And we're just showing this one very simple. It's a 65-year-old with $250,000 initial investment. So this is our guaranteed rates, okay? This is worst case scenario. The market, you look in the account value interest crediting rate, column full of zeros. That's if the market, the index we're tracking is negative or flat every year that you had this. And I showed you earlier that's never happened. Could happen, but it never has in almost 100 years.
I don't know if this is the right lingo for a financial man, but I would call this page zombie apocalypse.
That's pretty close right there. So you can see you started with $250,000 and then at any point, you've always got $250,000 or more.
Okay, so this is worst case scenario.
Absolute worst case scenario.
Okay. So if we go and look about what they think it will do.
Yeah, so this is based on the most recent 10-year period of how the Barclays Index has performed. And it's a 2-year point-to-point, so you'll see a zero every other year. That's not because the market's flat or it's going negative. That means that they only look at the index every 2 years, and then they credit your account in that year based on how it performed. So you can look hypothetically based on the most recent 10-year history. You start with $250, 10 years down the road, it illustrates to have about $530,000. So you've more than doubled your money. And a lot of that's because you have the second year, almost 24% credited to your account. The fourth year, almost 32%. Then you have a couple of lean years, 3%, 5%, and then another year of 20%. But even in the lean years, you're getting 3%. You look at your CDs, the best you could get, 1.27. So, and this annuity here is designed more for growth. So we have growth, we have income. So we'll look at if you want to, we'll take a look at an income.
Okay, let's look at, the next one we're going to look at is the Silac Denali 10. This one, like you said, is designed more if a person says, look, my primary concern is I want to be paid each and every month from my annuity and supplement my retirement.
Yeah, and the Silac it's actually almost a hybrid because it's got really good growth potential, but it does have a very good income, a robust income package there.
It's going to be built kind of about the same as the F&G. It's going to show you're guaranteed, right?
Yeah, a lot of similarities here. This one we have a little different index that we're tracking. We still have the Barclays Atlas point to point, but also for a little diversification, we're doing the Credit Suisse Raven Pack, artificial intelligence. So those are both tracking some options of the S&P. So they're tracking them different, but they're looking at the S&P, but they're performing better than the S&P itself. So we'll take a look here. This one has the zombie apocalypse again. This is your guaranteed page. You start with $250,000. You can see at any point it never goes below $250,000. So this is based on those two indexes, the Barclays and the Credit Suisse. Their most recent 10-year history, they've averaged about 7.72%. So with that in mind, you start with your $250,000, and it's pretty good too. You look out here year 10, and it's showing about $525,000, which is great growth, very similar to the other product, but it's also got your lifetime withdrawals built in here. So if somebody say they wanted to start taking income in year 7, they would turn on their lifetime withdrawal, lock it in at almost $25,000 per year.
Okay, so that number there, that's not what they're going to get every year. That's if I turn it on at that time.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to get for the rest of my life, guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed to never be less than that $24,447. Another thing I like about this is the wellness withdrawal. So after the second year, if you've turned on your lifetime withdrawal and the doctor says you can't perform 2 of the 6 daily activities of daily living, then you could turn on your wellness withdrawal. That's for long-term care, home health care, assisted living, those type things. But the doctor has to say you can't perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living. But if we take that same year 7 income, $24,447, and they do get their wellness withdrawal, they double that for a maximum of 5 years.
So all of that doesn't have to be used for home health care. They can still be taking a portion of that for income.
Absolutely, yep. Okay. That it's an indemnity, means the money goes to them. They can spend it however they want, but most people use it to help with their long-term care. But you have a maximum time of 5 years with that wellness withdrawal. Once that 5 years is up, it's not like you're out of money and you don't get income anymore. It drops back down to the $24,447 for as long as you live. You can never outlive your money.
Nice. And that's one thing that when I speak to seniors, we speak to seniors a lot. The number one thing that we hear that they're scared of is their biggest concern is, I don't want to outlive my money. This is a product that can guarantee you're going to have income for the rest of your life.
Absolutely, and that's called lifetime guaranteed income. You've heard Tom Hegna, a lot of very educated people that have done this for years. They truly believe you need a portion of your retirement in guaranteed income, okay? And that's because once you set it in, it's never going to be less than that amount again.
Okay, a couple big takeaways, and we'll just wrap it up here. Yeah. Is number one, you can't lose money. any of the products we've shown, you cannot lose money. Number two, how much do they have to pay you to go over this, and you know, what's it cost to sit down with you and see if there's any way we can help?
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't charge any fees ourselves for doing this. Okay, if someone comes in and they take out a product with Silac or with F&G, the company pays us, not from the client's money, because you see we started with $250,000, deposited $250 in their account. So they're not paying anything for fees up front, or they're not paying us as the agent. The company takes care of that.
And then lastly, the big thing is you listen,
Yeah.
right? What's important to them. And if you sit down with 10 people, you're probably going to have 10 different solutions, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, we do that all the time. That's basically all I do, is sit down and help people plan, and no two situations are alike.
Awesome. Well, Monty, thank you for your time. Guys, give us a call. There are numbers on the screen here. We can help you out. It doesn't cost you anything just to see and make sure your money is in the right place, doing the right thing for you.
Absolutely. Thank you.